again here with Campfire Chats, and my guest today is Stephen Kays. Stephen's the youth minister at Pleasant View, and he's also worship. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. At Pleasant View Church of Christ here in Angola. And just wanted to chat with Stephen a little bit. He's doing some creative things during this time as COVID-19 is, we're getting ready to head into our shutdown time of 2 weeks of stay at home. And so I wanted Stephen to come in. And Stephen, what are some things that you're doing right now as far as with the church to help, I guess, your church family to still be able to feel connected in some way?
Yes, I mean, it's a different time, isn't it?
It is.
So, I mean, as with most churches, now moving to like live stream for services kind of idea. We're doing something like that with videos on Sunday mornings. But I think one of my favorite things that we're starting to move on, and I've heard some other churches are too, was empowering more families at home to do their own Bible studies. I know like some churches who don't have the resources for like the live streaming and all of the fancy audio and video equipment, have just sent home like pamphlets or just papers with a Bible study and discussion questions just for their own family. And it was really interesting to hear some of the different ways that they were doing it, and we're kind of going to mimic and steal some of that in the future as well. Just finding more creative ways to get people involved. Because when you think back to like the New Testament time, it was a lot of that more home churches and families studying God's Word together and praying together and being with one another. So I think that's one of the best things that we're seeing from all of this right now is kind of the breaking out of the church as just a building and more of a church as a people group. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about camp is it's a whole bunch of churches coming together for the sole purpose of worshiping God, recognizing that the church is more than just one sanctuary in Angola or wherever.
Right. Very good. That's great to hear. I heard someone lament today that they were sad because their people in their church maybe didn't know quite how to worship together as a family. And I think that's one thing. And as I look through this crisis, we'll come out better. Better and stronger people. But I think the church is going to. I know the church is going to be stronger as well through things like this, just empowering families to worship.
Because you look at the church through history, I mean, crisis after crisis, the church has gone through, whether that's like plagues or persecutions from other governments. And then at the end of it, the church is even stronger. The people have more faith because they know, hey, God's carried us through this. He'll just carry us through the next thing.
That's right.
As we need to.
Great. Awesome. So, Stephen, you're also helping with summer camp, and in particular, high school week. Okay. So, and I've already told everybody, I said, hey, summer camp, we're full steam ahead, planning on it. It may look a little different this year. We may be impacted in ways we just don't know right now. It's too early to tell. But you've said that you're doing some planning already.
Oh, yeah.
Is there maybe a little bit you can share without opening up the whole bag?
We do have our Wacky Wednesday idea, which they will find out on Wednesday of camp. So that's one we're keeping pretty close to the vest.
Okay.
But yeah, we're organizing a lot of different topics for our like breakout teaching groups that I think are really relevant to students today. And the things that they're going through. I mean, we know the camp theme this summer is identity. And I mean, how much students struggle with their identity in today's age with seeing so many influences from social media, internet, school, and the other struggles they've had for time immemorial.
Right.
I think we're going to really be diving into some topics that will shape the way that they see themselves in God's eyes.
Right.
And just
right.
getting back to the core of what God says, who God says we are, who He challenges us to be, and how He shows us to love others.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Wacky Wednesday last year. Tell everybody what we did for that.
So last year everything was reversed. So Campfire was the first thing in the morning, and then we had dinner for breakfast. Most people were like on board with the whole reverse schedule thing, but the dinner for breakfast was a little hard for people to
that
get
was
around.
hard to.
I mean, you could kind of pretend like, all right, mashed potatoes. There's a kind of like hash browns. I think it was chicken. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, that works. Green beans in the morning, I couldn't get used to that.
Yeah.
That was a hard one.
Yeah. That was a stretch. So. Well,
but
good.
it was fun.
Yes. Well, look forward to summer camp and high school week, and Donnie does a great job leading things up. I appreciate you helping him out with that. So, is there a verse, Stephen, a verse or a song you've been clinging to the last couple of weeks that has encouraged you, or has encouraged other people through this? I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Oh,
here,
sure.
But through this time.
Sure. So, one song we did last Sunday during our video live stream was the song "My Lighthouse" by Ring Collective.
Okay.
And I mean, it's really based on when Peter walks out on the water. He needed to have the faith, and if he just kept his faith and kept his eyes on Jesus, that's when he would also be able to walk on the water. Like you read in the miracle, like Jesus walks on water, but he empowered Peter to do the same, even though there were storms and waves all around him. Eventually, if you know the story, Peter did lose sight of Jesus, and he began to sink until Jesus helped him up and said, "Ye of little faith." Kind of one of the many harsh ways that Jesus challenged Peter. But we sang that song, "My Lighthouse," and just in the middle of recording that, it was interesting to think, like, we're in some troubled seas right now, and a lot of times, like when you hear about sailors on the ocean in the middle of storms, the scariest thing is really the unknown. It's like, well, what if we do turn over, or what if we don't make it out of this? But the song is all about fixing our eyes on Jesus and knowing that He has promised us that He will be there for us, that He loves us, and as the song says, like, He will carry us safe to shore.
Yeah.
And so whether that's a virus that's going around, or our own turmoil and stress in our own daily lives, I think that's something that we can hold on to. And that doesn't mean that life is suddenly going to be rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
However, I mean, it can still be hard, but we know that in the grand scheme of it, at the end, we'll be with Him, and we know that all the struggles and the storms will be gone, and we can just look back on it and be like, hey, we made it through.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Stephen, for your time with us. Stephen's also going to do a few songs for us, just to encourage us and remind us a little bit about camp, and it's not too far away,
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking forward to some warmer days, and looking forward to what God has in store as He's working right now and working in our lives, and excited to see what's going to happen through this. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.